The royal tour of UK and Europe.
Yes, well, this is the Sussex's first ever visit to Germany, and hundreds of fans gathered at Dusseldorf Town Hall to greet them on arrival.
Yes, this comes as Meghan made her first UK public address since stepping back from royal duties in January 2020 at the One Young World Summit, and also revealed on the latest episode of her Archetypes podcast that she resents being told she was lucky to be chosen by Prince Harry.
Yes, well, joining us now is Harrold, who's a former butler to the Prince of Wales, Duchess of Cornwall, Prince William and Harry. Thank you for joining us this morning. I do have to ask you, because I have not watched or listened to this podcast, Archetypes, which is a play on Archie, I suppose. What is it like? What is she talking about in it?
To be totally truthful, I've only listened to a little part of it myself, but obviously it's like any other podcast, really, but obviously it's slightly different because it's the Duchess of Sussex. So I think that's what really obviously drives people to listen, to hear what she's going to talk about, because I think people are possibly wondering, what kind of things she's going to talk about. I think recently one of the things that was commented was apparently, did somebody call her a diva, somebody she was interviewing?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. Yeah. And I think that was obviously, I don't know how that went down. So, but people then obviously hear these reports and then listen to it because they want to know what she's talking about.
Well, I mean, I think I have to admit, I'm not her biggest fan, and I think one of the things that have come out of over the last few years, and particularly again with this speech and also this podcast, is that most of the time she's talking about herself. She's left the royals officially, and she still hasn't been able to kind of forge her own identity as distinct going forward. She's still very much hanging on to those conversations about, the fact that she was, treated badly in her eyes.
I think this is the tricky part, because as a member of the royal family, your job is quite straightforward. You're there as a member of the royal family to support the Queen, carry out official duties, you're given an itinerary, you know exactly what you're doing. They've left, which is unusual. It hasn't happened in 70-odd years where members of the royal family have stood, well, that was obviously a king's abdicating, but to stand down, they've now got to forge their own career, and they're becoming what I call celebrity royals, because you see with this visit, it's almost like a state visit. I mean, the way people are meeting them, they're closing roads, there's police protection, it is like a royal visit, but they're not royals anymore.
What is the purpose then? To what end are they doing all of these visits? I mean, obviously it's for their own publicity, yes, but is there some other more nobler goal to what they're doing? I'm
not sure. I believe they're trying to create their own kind of persona. They want to kind of be known as they're not even saying former royals, so I suppose they're kind of being unofficial royals, but anything they say and do is not on behalf of the Queen. It's obviously it's on their side, it's their terms. So it's interesting to see how this is going to kind of play out. It's quite tricky, because they are still, even as a former royal butler, people always kind of, when I say something, it's always referred to as former butler to the royal family. For them, they're members of the royal family. They're maybe no longer senior members, but they are still members, so everything they say and do does reflect the royal family.